When my friend Carlos reached out regarding a collaboration between creators about a magic card that is special to each of us, I knew what I would choose instantly. What I love about this card is what I love about magic, and art in general. But what do I mean when I say art? I define a work of art as something that is more than the sum of its parts. While the obvious examples of this are compositions where very little visual information can be used to create a tremendous amount of meaning, this applies to other art forms as well. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the famous writing exercise of a 6-word story, which challenges the author to use implication to tell far more than is being directly stated. This card exemplifies the philosophy of a select few parts coming together to say far more than any single part could individually. In a moment, you will see what I mean, but first, I want to tell a story. In late autumn of 2019, I was sitting in a game store drafting Throne of Eldraine. My Pack 1 rare was a lackluster Knights Tribal payoff, which I passed, instead first picking Revenge of Ravens. However, as I fanned through, I couldn't help but notice that the same common appeared twice in the pack. Once in foil, and once not. While on average, an 8-person draft pod will have just over 2 copies of any given common in a set, this is only a mathematical average, and this pod was far on the edges of the distribution curve. Between the 24 packs we opened, there were an astounding 6 copies of that common, and I drafted every single one. In addition to my 6 Gingerbrutes, I also managed to get a hold of an assortment of Rosethorn Halberds, Giant Skewers, and Tall as a Beanstalks. These equipment and auras turned a hasty and evasive 1-drop into a rapidly ticking clock on my opponent's life totals. Between a small army of heavily armed and effectively unblockable cookies, and my ravens pecking away at my opponents for daring to try and race me, there was nothing anyone could do to stop me, and I went completely undefeated. While I have a fondness for this card based on how fun it was to draft, I also want to talk about what makes the card special. Gingerbrute has 3 abilities. The first is a single word, haste. The next is an activated ability to make it unblockable, except by other creatures that also have haste. In a mere 12 words, this card encodes a nursery rhyme in its rules text. Finally, it has the ability to be eaten, like all cookies should. Gingerbrute is Magic's best 6-word story, from a set that was full of them. The card even has room for flavor text with a completely original joke about using the wrong ingredients. This actually serves as a good analogy for Eldraine as a whole. A brilliantly designed set with only a few knobs turned wrong. While rares and mythics from Eldraine will terrorize Eternal formats for years to come, everything printed in the set at uncommon or below was more or less perfect. This particular Gingerbrute represents the incredible mix of flavor, visuals, and gameplay of one of my favorite Magic sets of all time. Fun fact as well, this is actually the 3rd alternate art for Gingerbrute I have. The first is an extended version of the original art by Vincent Proce, and the second was drawn by my lovely girlfriend, who also wrote the music you've been listening to in the background. Check out the video description for links to her music and the other Magic creators participating in this project.